Hello everyone and welcome back. It's round number 2 of the 2024 Discraft Cascade Challenge Q-Series event on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Shelton Springs is where we're at. We've got Niklas Anttila, your leader. Second place, Ezra Robinson, who we saw yesterday. Also tied with him is Matt Bloom. And rounding out our card, we've got Carter Ahrens. Guys, you begged for him. You pleaded. He's back. We've got Alden Harris on the mic.
Thank you for having me back.
Your fan club grew by like tenfold, I heard, overnight. Go figure. Here we are. It's the same course. We're on hole number 1. One of the shortest ones, you said.
Yes, I believe this is the shortest hole on the course. You want something to go straight with slight hyzer. You either want to go in front of or behind the circle edge trees.
And you got to start by talking about the 14 under we saw from Anttila yesterday. He got into the tournament late, so we didn't see him on a feature card, but blistering score of 14 under. Can you repeat that?
It's hard to say. I would say today in these specific conditions, it's significantly colder and windier today. So a 14 under would be, I think double digits is the equivalent to 14 under today.
Nice smooth shot from Robinson. It's caught up by one of the final Guardians, but still makeable putt. And Matt Bloom, what a story. I saw him out at the course on Thursday. He came up, introduced himself, said he was just super excited to have coverage and have everything happening. And I said, hey, man, you're not on the feature card, but just shoot yourself there. And he's like, okay. And he didn't really have faith in himself. And what do you know? He goes out and puts himself lead card for second day.
That is cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen Matt play, so I'm excited to watch him play round 2. Carter, I love watching Carter play. He's very exciting. He can throw very far. He's a great putter. I've played with him a handful of times on open courses, and he loves to go big, so I'm interested to see if he can find any, quote, Simon lines here in the woods.
Well, he's looking for a magic line on that one. And I'm not sure he found it. It's going to be short.
Sometimes it's kind of a relief to mess up hole 1, get into circle 2 so you can just kind of pitch up and take a par. Sometimes the worst thing to do is put it circle's edge in the wind on this elevated basket. It's kind of be a bit scary on hole 1.
Anttila not even messing with it. He's just going to lay it up.
This is the type of putt that's so scary to have on hole 1. Let's see if Ezra can... Didn't he hit metal on like every basket for birdie on?
Up until hole 14 yesterday. Yes, he was definitely putting or giving himself looks on everything. I think he parred hole 1 yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Very confident putt there for Matt. I'm sure he has some nerves being on camera for the first time.
Yeah, as he was just saying, I finally calmed down. You know, you said it yesterday. It's such a tight gap to hit off the fairway here of 1. Off the tee on 1, and then to step up and make the putt. And just like that, he's going to get a stroke on the entire card. And like you said, considerably colder than it was yesterday. And the wind just kind of cuts right through you while you're out there.
Mm-hmm.
Temps in the low 50s. Should be clear of rain, so that'll be good, but going to deal with the wind for sure as we head to the very tight hole number 2.
Yes, hole 2. I mentioned it yesterday. It should be a routine hole, but because it's hole 2 so early in the round, especially in the cold, your hands are a bit cold still, so it'd be a pretty daunting gap, I'd say, this early in the round. I think Ezra was the only one to hit the gap yesterday on our coverage.
Matt takes the day off from work, so to speak. Actually, he works for the Coast Guard, and so he had to put in for having the day to come play yesterday. Okay.
Not seeing any sign of nerves so far.
If there are any, he's hiding them well.
You can really see the wind, too, for today. Significant. compared to yesterday. There's not too many holes that are out in the open, but there's this long stretch, I guess of what? Telephone wires, power lines. Yeah, that's really when you can see the wind, and hole 2 is obviously in them.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you get out of the gap, the wind immediately is going to push you to the left.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the wind is always prevailing out here, I've been told. Go right to left, and Carter doesn't get out of the gap either. Or at least he's on the edge, I should say. Anttila fortunate enough to be out in the open. Gonna go with a standstill. Disaster averted.
That'll hit.
And yesterday, the few times that he did miss, that seemed to be the miss, right? On that kind of high right side of the basket, and then every time there was a terrible reaction off of the actual basket.
He would always find the spots of elevation that aren't really existed on this course to roll down. Man, and these are the hardest putts today in this wind.
Yeah, certainly nervy.
Yeah. Oh my, what? That, wow. Usually Ezra has a very clean release. You can really tell how windy it is just by how much wobble he had there.
And you hear what the wind is doing. Carter not taking anything for granted as well. Meanwhile, Matt's just chilling, just like waiting for everybody to get out of his way.
First to throw, last to tap out.
Matt is unsponsored, but says he throws a ton of Discmania. In fact, his whole bag is Discmania. And he said he was excited because he was going to be peeking at whatever Niklas was doing and seeing the shots and the discs that he was throwing. So he loves that as we head to 3.
Yeah, hole 3, longest hole in the course, par 5, hazard on the left, OB on the right. I'm really interested to see how much they try to bite off today because it is a ripping tailwind. I'm expecting Carter to try to go big here. But you just kind of want to put it in the center. You don't want to mess with either the OB or hazard, and then you should have some type of look into the gap. Also, I feel like I've noticed this grass is not very skippy. As Ezra probably going to skip 1,000 feet OB.
No,
yeah.
That checks up, kind of catches a weird angle, but checks up almost immediately.
See how much he tries to bite off. Ah. Okay. I feel like every time I've played with Carter, he's gone very aggressive on holes like this, so maybe he's maybe he's learned.
Oh, you heard him just say that's like the shortest shot of all time.
He kind of reminds me of like an old Simon, just going just so aggressive all the time, and now Simon, he's playing really conservative and playing a lot better, so maybe he's learned playing these tour courses.
Ezra doesn't like it, and that leaks to the left side.
The key for this second shot here is just to get as far into the woods as you can. It doesn't even really matter if you were on the fairway or not. You don't want to be where Aaron landed though, or Carter landed there. But yeah, pretty much as far as you can get through there, you'll have some type of scramble because it's not too dense of woods.
Yesterday, this played as the 3rd easiest hole on the course. Today, wind affecting it a little bit more, so playing as the 6th easiest. And that is well off the mark over on the left side. But like you said, just kind of sparsely wooded, so finding a lane and getting to the pin isn't that difficult. Nice controlled shot.
Beautiful shot there from Ezra. Looking to get his first birdie of the round, getting his round rolling a little bit. Seemed like he had some awkward footing there.
Yeah, plenty of room off to the left side, but makes a huge mistake. And after a really good start on the first 2 holes, it seems like Matt not quite dialed in here on the approaches of 3. How did you fare out here on hole 3 today, knowing it's a par 5 and one you kind of want to get for birdie?
Yeah, so I threw a very large drive, maybe one of the furthest of the day, and still got a par. Oh, Ezra. I don't think that hit metal.
What do you make of such an errant attempt there? Because that seems uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to say about it because he's sitting behind me right now, but we'll just let it slide for now. We'll see if he can make the adjustment on the upcoming holes.
Anttila in for the par.
As long as he makes this. Okay.
Easy cleanup.
I think that was longer than the first one he missed.
If he only had a microphone right now. He's just got to sit here and take it. We head to hole 4.
Yeah, hole 4, it definitely shapes up for a forehand more than a backhand, but a backhand mid-range will work as long as you get one that'll go straight and have some late turn, which Ezra demonstrated perfectly yesterday. Let's see if he can do it again today. We may actually see 4 backhands here.
I don't know if golf shots get much prettier than that.
Yeah, that was beautifully done. One of his better shots this round, at least.
Ouch.
I've seen a lot of, I guess it would be grip log with a backhand, but get through that like early corner.
So miss, you're saying you'd rather pull it inside than be outside?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I feel like if you go right of that one tree that you have to go left of, seems like a lot of them get through. Nice forehand there from Matt. Is that the first forehand we've seen from him this round?
Yeah, it is. And he looks pretty comfortable with it, stepping up to a shot like that. Matt comes in with 1,001 rating. Carter just in front of him at 1,008. It gives it enough power, but not quite the line. Opportunity for Matt to pick up another birdie. This would be his 3rd birdie. And pretty impressive, of course, the mistake on the previous hole, but to have 3 birdies in the first 4 holes. Again, no signs of nerves.
Chipping away at that lead that Niklas had, too. It's only 2 strokes now, I guess, until he taps out here.
I can't be the first to notice the mismatched shoes. Is that, or is that just the way that particular style is? That they're 2 different colors.
I didn't even notice. Now you're gonna make me look at them. Let's see.
They're 2 different, and they very well could be from.
Oh, I think they match. It's just one side is different than the other. Like.
Oh yeah, and I didn't mean to say like 2 totally different. I just didn't know if he bought like a pink bottom paired and an orange bottom and then switched the left and the right, or if just that actual. I don't know. All right, we head over to hole number 5.
Yes, on the hole 5. I said it yesterday, but a typical par 4 out here. It's a very clean first half of the hole, and then the second half of the hole seems to be a bit of a, I guess, scramble. So the key here is just getting as far as you can and kind of just seeing what you're left with. Yeah. That is very well done. He will still have a scramble, but he's, I would say, 250 feet from the basket.
And not a whole lot of wind-up here that comes from Matt on the forehand. Pretty much puts it on one angle.
Wow, pretty much identical to Niklas's.
Yeah, you got room to work with. Pretty clean shot overall.
And as you can see here, the second half of the hole, just trees everywhere. There's lanes everywhere, but they're all very, very small. So you have to kind of, I don't know, choose one and commit to it.
See the blue post there. I believe that means 300 to the pin.
I believe so, yes.
So multicolored, not mix. I don't know.
Maybe let's just move on from the shoes.
Solid approach.
Let's see what type of shoes Ezra's wearing.
Really just the last tree to beat. Otherwise, that was going to slide up right next to the pin. So you have to work for the putt. Right at circle's edge. What?
Oh, that is brutal. I actually saw a handful of those today, which is not something you see often on these baskets.
Yeah, we look at it from the other side.
Got to get the replay. Yeah.
Maybe a touch high, but when you're not having the best start and then that happens to you, it just feels like somebody's just kicking you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that would stick on any basket. I'm very impressed with Matt so far. Seems to be handling his own pretty well.
Yeah, the fact that he's already picked up 3 birdies in the first 5 holes. And I feel like there's almost an element of being like somewhat starstruck. Obviously, he's a solid player, but, I know he looks up to someone like Niklas, I'm sure, as well as Ezra and the rest of the card. I just think that as a guy who's a regional player and really isn't trying to get out and get on the tour next week or anything like that, he's having a heck of a weekend so far. Very cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Niklas in for the birdie.
Ezra tapping in his deserved par.
I don't think that look tells me he thinks he deserved it. I think he had other thoughts. I can't imagine what was going through his head as we head to 6.
Yeah, 6. The key to hole 6 is pushing it as straight as far as you can with an overstable disc. So it goes straight and then almost takes a 90-degree skip to the left at the end of its flight. It's a very tricky hole, but definitely one you can get. It's about where you'll see the majority of good shots land. It's really, really tough to park this one unless you get lucky.
Comes up just shy with one of those guardian bushes, so that'll probably come into his stance or his swing possibly for the putt. Oh no. That cuts over and actually misses the Mando, so he'll go to the red short tee, I believe.
Looks a little early from Ezra. I think it caught something late there. Actually not even sure where this is.
I believe it's off to the left side, so it kind of plays as in what would be an Anheuser for a righty backhand player, or in this case, an easy little forehand chip shot. Matt leaning into those, not having any problems with them. We haven't seen a ton of C2 connections, I'll say in general. You know, round 1, there weren't too many fireworks, and haven't seen much of them in round 2 so far.
Yeah, especially in these conditions. It's so hard to connect from C2 with having your hands a bit cold and just, especially some swirly winds here in the woods.
You've seen plenty of people play, as have I, over the last 30 years. Niklas has a very unique delivery when it comes to releasing his putt, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely. I don't even know how to describe it or who to really compare it to. It's very unique. Is there anyone that comes to mind that...
No, just that low kind of, yeah, the way it comes through so low and then releases low, but with so much power and force. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head either. It is very unique. Maybe that's what the comment section should answer for us. Who would you compare? Who else that we would know? Put it in the comments who you think you could compare Anttila's putt to possibly as we head to the 7th.
Yeah, the 7th. It's pretty much the only... It's actually pretty similar to hole 2 in the fact that it's a tight gap off the tee and then the basket's pretty much in the wide open. You pretty much just want to hit the gap, get the distance right, and you usually have a look at birdie. We did have a pretty ripping right to left crosswind here that made it pretty tricky, especially if your play was to go something kind of neutral to flippy to hit the gap. It made it really, really hard to throw something flippy today. You kind of want to go with some overstable on a slight flex line.
And that's trying to get the late flex back as you were just talking about.
It's the same exact.
It's great from Ezra. As long as it doesn't skip too much. Okay, just outside the circle.
Anything to the left of this pin is essentially going to be a headwind putting back to the basket if you're to the left of the pin, like we were saying. Just like 2, the wind is blowing from the right to left here. That also will be a headwind putt.
Yeah, I also remember at this point of the round, it was this hole and the next hole that were by far the windiest of the holes. Just because it's so exposed, you're not in the woods. Ah, there we go. Not sure how that one stayed. Seemed to be a worse putt than the one that spit out, but getting his first birdie of the round.
Happy to connect from circle 2. Anttila with more obstruction, the straddle, and right in the center.
Wow, these are so impressive. If you could feel the wind out there that I felt today. Those almost seemed unmakeable to me today.
So Anttila will move to 18 under. Seems like he's starting to get things going over the last couple of holes, and that's going to be short out of Matt's hand. Just really not enough. Carter just inside the circle. So pretty impressive, like you're saying, with so much wind on this hole. Looks like these guys all found a way to get it in with a solid putt. And Matt's going to be the lone man out with the par. I don't feel like that hole plays that easy. For seeing that we had 3 birdies on it, I wouldn't say that you would have thought of that.
Pretty tough hole. On to hole 4, I believe it was the easiest hole yesterday. Is it the easiest hole today?
Hole 8 is, yes. It was yesterday as it is today. Playing
Yes, so,
at 3.73 as an average.
So we had a pretty significant head left to right here, which was making it pretty tricky, but you still just kind of want to throw in the woods. There is a gap, but it's pretty far off the tee, so I guess you're just kind of aiming for the gap, but hoping to get as far as you can. There also is some hazard on this right side that we found, Aaron found yesterday. Usually doesn't come into play too often, but in this wind, I could definitely see it come into play, turning this over.
I believe Anttila is going to be pretty close, almost as close as what we saw Aaron yesterday, except for Anttila is going to be inbounds as opposed to Gossage yesterday.
This looks perfect. Wow. That's a phenomenal shot there from Ezra.
Yeah, just outside of circle 2 with an eagle bid.
I also just noticed Matt was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
He's got to be freezing. You can kind of see why this hole averages usually the easiest hole. Just because Matt kind of went with a conservative play there with a forehand. He's still left with a very, very makeable up and down.
See Anttila there.
Barely safe.
I can be like this, right? Even though it's hazard.
Beautiful shot with a mutant there. It's one of his favorite discs to throw on that line.
Woods golf can be pretty easy if you can throw shots like that, right?
Yes.
You're able to scramble in that capacity. A little bit short there. Like Matt will have to settle for a par. Yeah, easiest hole on the course as it was yesterday. Hole 4, the second easiest. And a long eagle bid doesn't connect. Not so bad. Tap in birdie pretty much. A little bit of a mental lapse there for Carter.
Yeah, it's going to be a frustrating bogey on this hole.
What's not frustrating is checking out your channel. Give everybody a little plug. Where can they find all your action?
Yes, you can subscribe to my YouTube. We make some pretty fun vlogs on there. Yeah, not much more to say.
All right, all right. Go out and subscribe. We also have both the cameramen out there helping me out this weekend. We've got great work coming in from both Elijah and Justin. So their links are in the description as well as we head to the 9th, trying to close out this front 9. 3:15, not too much to it, right?
Yeah, you'd think so at 3:15, but man, there's so many trees on this one. It's a very tight gap from start to finish. Oh man, and that is the last thing you want is hitting some early. It's gonna make this hole real hard.
Ezra appears to have laced it, and it's going to go deep.
Yeah, so he overturned it there a little bit, but it was able to sneak through, which it seems like it happens a lot. It's I don't know, it's pretty rare to, I feel like, hit something when you overturn it. It seems like it always gets through. Man, and I don't know if I've yet to seen someone hit the gap in person or on coverage. It's so tight.
Well, you have to wait till round 3 at this point.
And Niklas is in a tough spot here, having to go tomahawk to try to save his par. I don't know if I've ever seen him throw a tomahawk.
Yeah, and that's going to come up short. Here it kind of flopped down eventually, so he still has work to do. He's managed to stay bogey-free in all of round 1 and round 2, so it's been really impressive getting through all of this, you know, these wooded tight gaps and everything else and keeping it clean. That's certainly in threat right now.
Yeah, that's very impressive at this course, going even a full round without a bogey. That's very hard to do.
Well, he's going to try and keep it clean here. He's looking at 50, maybe 55 feet to save the par. Way to jinx him.
I didn't bring it up, Terry.
That looks like Anttila with his first bogey of the tournament. Ezra can pick up 2 on him. He closes out the front 9. He's at the halfway point. He's 18 under through 27 holes and currently sitting on a comfortable lead, but we know the wind and the back 9 here today are going to provide plenty of challenges for the entire division. And with that, Alden, thanks for joining us here on the front 9. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Leave us some comments. I forgot what I asked at the beginning of the round, but make sure you put it in the comment section. We've got giveaways. Alden is donating 33 discs this weekend. He doesn't know it yet, but I think he's going to. That's all part of being here. That's what we're seeing. Makila doing some work. He's trying to get up onto the podium. We'll see you guys the back 9.